Friday.
It was same time. Look at us building rapport before the show.
It's great.
Two little good co-hosts. What is going on, everybody? Happy Friday. Welcome to the UnderDog NBA Strategy Show presented by UnderDog Fantasy. I'm Eric Lindquist. Excited to be talking through this slate. 6 games ahead of us. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we get going. First time being able to do an Underdog show. I love their product in the best ball streets. I also love it for Pick 'em. I love it for the tournament strategy. Haven't played a couple of those in a while, so I'm excited to get back in the Underdog streets tonight. Going to be doing it with my pal Neil Orfield at PlayerQ DFS, High Stakes Podcast. Check out all the things. He has a million different VODs now, too. He's part of the team here at Stokastic. How you doing, my dude?
I'm doing well, Eric. And this is the first time, I gotta say, I don't know how it took me this long to realize that you look exactly like a young Bill O'Reilly. I've never seen it before, but now,
Stop it.
Now that I see you next to that quote, I'm like, yeah, oh man, this guy. Bill
I have
O'Reilly.
temper tantrums like Bill O'Reilly, maybe. Is that what it is?
That's it. That is the connection.
F it, we'll do it live. I hope you guys like that. I thought that was a pretty nice touch by our,
I really love
video
that,
team.
by
our content team.
Also,
our
I do want
team.
I want to ask you also that picture that they used. Where would you rate that? Like on all the pictures that are used of you across our content. I know there's the hand waving one you're not a fan of. Where would you rank this one?
Well, I didn't see. So I took the graphic from earlier because I had a preloaded tweet that I was going to send out just to give everybody information that we were going to start this in 15 minutes. So I scheduled that at like 10:16 or whatever it was, and was like, well, I saw that there was another picture of us that was you and me that was used as the thumbnail for this. I would rate the one where it's me by myself as like a 5. I am legitimately a -5, I would say, in terms of the one where we're next to each other on that. That is one of the most egregious pictures ever of me. And part of it is that we did those pictures in Chicago after partaking in some drinkies. So I wasn't in fine form that next morning to be able to take pictures and look good. Bloated, disgusting, but nobody cares about that. Look at that. I mean, look how red I am.
I can't even see it. Where does Jordan have it on the screen?
Yeah, it's on the screen.
I have not seen this graphic yet. That is funny. It's actually, I mean, you're like smiling.
You look great.
Looking regular.
You're smiling. I get to see the happy, smiley, beautiful Neil. And then there's me and my forehead and red patches and bad stubble. It's I'm going through puberty over.
Maybe not a great picture for you, but still a very handsome picture for most of us.
Okay. What were you going to say in regards to my picture?
I was just curious how you felt about it, because this is the first time that I've seen it. I also see that we just tweeted out a link. So on Wednesday, we had this tweet with me and Lofty doing the show, and it was your picture. Now we just got one with Lofty in the picture, and you and I on the show. Was just tweeted out by the Stokastic NBA team. So I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but it's kind of funny.
I kind of enjoy the troll, but I also just enjoy this Underdog product, which is why I'm excited to be on the show today. We have a great offer going for you guys right now. 100% first deposit match up to $100. I know that mirrors a lot of sites, but if you haven't checked out the best ball product over there, it's incredible. You need to check it out for the NFL. Get some drafts in before the NFL draft. I think that there's a tiny bit of edges to be able to mine out with rookies and things of that format. Have you been able to play any best ball stuff early on in the season?
Yes. So I've only done a couple drafts so far. It's a really fun product. It's interesting because it's similar to NFL playoff best ball, where it's like you have to be concerned about your teams falling off. So you want to have at least a full squad. So 5 players, 1 wing, 1 big, and 1 guard who you can fit into, and 2 flex players to play in the championship round. Like that's the only way you're going to win serious money, is having 5 players who make it to the championship. So you got to think about who's dropping off. The nice thing is you don't have to worry about a bye week in NBA playoff best ball like you do in NFL. And it's also kind of interesting because different teams will have a different number of games. That's a little kind of fun wrinkle. But I've done just a couple drafts and have been really enjoying it.
Well, also you don't know where any rookie is playing.
Oh no. So I have not done drafts for, what are you talking about? NFL?
Yeah, I was talking about NFL.
Sorry. I have been doing those. Yeah, I've ripped off plenty of those. I thought you were asking me about the NBA playoff stuff. Yeah. No, I've been doing those.
I wanted to just set the table. I wanted to get a quick little, just like 2 seconds about your NFL love, because again, I absolutely love their best ball product. It's the best in the entire industry. So if you took advantage, in the video description box below, 100% first match deposit bonus up to $100 just for that, I would understand. But today, we get to cover the NBA product, and I don't think you guys understand how good this is either. We're going to start with a pick 'em. I know that mirrors a lot of places, but it is a clean interface. You can 6x on a 3-pick play. That is the best standard that you're going to get on a 3-pick parlay in the entire industry. So it's 3x, 6x, 10x, 20x. So the 20x is fantastic in terms of 5. We're going to give you that. I would love to see your favorite play in the comment section as well. If there's a play you've got your eye on for Underdog, then it allows for me to pick 2, Neil to pick 2, and then we can jump into a draft, which is what I know a lot of people want to be able to check out. So we're going to get into the drafts, do a tournament strategy for this 6-gamer we have before it. And just before we got on the show, Darius Garland got downgraded to questionable. Sounds like he might have a rumbly in his tumbly or something of that nature. Oh, no, it's a quad injury. So it is a lower body injury. That definitely changes a little bit of the narrative around it. But anything you want to talk about with this slate before we dive into the pick'em format?
Yeah, so I'm looking for if there are any bets we can take advantage of, like Cleveland overs. All of our best Cleveland bets are unders already, so they probably get a little bit worse with this news. Yeah, I mean, as far as pick'em goes, I don't see anything that we are going to benefit from this injury. It is nice that we have this pick'em product in Underdog, or sorry, in NBA Bet Pro. We have this available to us to find some of the best bets here. Makes it a lot easier to identify some plus EV bets.
Yeah, and the one at the top of the list right now on NBA Bet Pro, Donovan Mitchell assists under 5. With Darius Garland out, that would change. I definitely feel like my opinion and your opinion and everybody's opinion who watches basketball, that would change. You get more minutes for a lot of randos coming in there. It's still going to be, I think, the regular starting lineup. They've incorporated Isaac Okoro in there. Kevin Love gone. Lamar Stevens has been back in that rotation quite a bit lately. You could see Karis LeVert. He's the most likely candidate who would start in replacement of Donovan Mitchell. So a decent fantasy perspective guy, but in terms of assist rate, not very high, averages less than 4 per game. So definitely a Darius Garland one for one swap for him would be an upgrade to Donovan Mitchell's assist rate. But if you guys look at your screen right now, there's also a way to go to the top right corner, Jordan Klein, producer extraordinaire. Click on dark mode, because I like the dark mode, especially on a cold, wet, dark, dungy little Friday out here in Los Angeles, California. Think it's a good thing for the people to have some dark mode in their lives. Click on, you see where it's the little half sun? Oh, doesn't that look better to you?
So much better.
I enjoy it. Anyway, that was a small thing I wanted. But we have Corey Allen throwing some plays out there. I'm going to take one of those. We'll figure out which one we want. But Neil, I'm going to turn it over to you for our first pick for the pick'em. Where are you going?
I mean, because I'm skipping over that Donovan Mitchell one, just because I think that probably does change the equation if Darius Garland is out. I'll go right to the number 2 on our board, which is Pascal Siakam. The over on 6.5 rebounds. We have Siakam projected for 7.7 today. He averages 7.6 on the year. He's in a fast-paced matchup with the Lakers. I don't see any reason he shouldn't exceed 6.5. I think that's just raw numbers play. Like, he's playing regular minutes, big minutes here. He's averaging 7.6 rebounds. The line is just 6.5. There's really no ding on this matchup here. So I really like that one. We have it winning 58% of the time. Pascal Siakam over 6.5 rebounds against the Lakers. I don't really think there needs to be any kind of deep analysis for that kind of bet, where it seems just pretty clear based on his averages.
Who's saying light mode goated? Dark mode. Dark, dingy. Looks great on the screen too, as opposed to the white screen. I think it just looks so clean. It's a great interface. I like the dark mode. Have you been a light mode or a dark mode guy when you're on Underdog on your laptop?
So I think that this is a case where I was light mode for like years, and then I posted a screenshot, and I think Adam shipped my money, shamed me a little bit, like, who uses light mode? And then I was like, oh yeah, there's a button to switch to dark mode, and now I use dark mode. It's not a huge thing for me. I prefer dark mode, but I don't think I feel as strongly as you do about it.
I do feel strongly about it.
I can tell.
I absolutely love it. So you went to Pascal Siakam rebounds, and obviously pace of play. These are very, very good things. I want to go to Anthony Davis on the other side. And I know that this isn't something that's completely popping, but it's popping for me because I haven't projected north of 15.5 rebounds. 13.5 rebounds for Anthony Davis going up against Toronto. You do get Jakob Poeltl, Pascal Siakam. You get rotating in there, Precious Achiuwa, a lot of bigs there, but it's still a game that projects out decently well for me. Toronto, they're going to slow it down a little bit, do their best, but the Los Angeles Lakers, they've been top 3 in pace basically all season long. Toronto down there at 25th, but the rebounding opportunities with the 2 extra bigs out there, I still think they're going to be there because Anthony Davis is playing a shitload of minutes, 38 minutes pretty much throughout in any competitive spot. They just need to keep riding his coattails to try to get themselves into the playoffs. Can they actually get there? I doubt it, but I have Anthony Davis projected for a lot of rebounds. He just had a difficult matchup in Memphis. We know their defensive rating being number 1 in the NBA this season, but I think the Lakers up against Toronto, Anthony Davis should still have plenty of opportunities to get some boards. 13.5. I like higher on that one.
Man, that's such a high total, but yeah, I think higher makes sense. I like that call. I was trying to find one that I like for our boys, the Timberwolves, and I found one that I can get behind. The tools like them, so
I think they just smashed Brooklyn's face tonight for what it's worth. Are you going to the game? Really?
I'm not going to the game. I only have one more game left on my my season tickets list because I split with 4 other people. So don't get to go to that many games, but not going to this one. But I do think it's going to be a really fun game
for a playoff game. Might have to
hit me up if you come back.
I think I will.
Well, at least grab a beer. Maybe go to a game. So the Wolves are actually favored. Love that. I was surprised to see that they were favored against the Sixers, and then of course they got absolutely demolished by the Sixers last time out. So that was unfortunate. Here it's not as shocking for this form of the Nets team. I do think that they're sort of a scary team just because they're pretty good. But anyhow, as far as the picks go, I do like the over on 2.5 3-pointers for Anthony Edwards. We have him projected for 3.1. You look at his game log. I mean, recently he hasn't actually taken the fantasy bump that I thought he would when the Wolves traded D'Angelo Russell for Mike Conley, because he's just not really doing as much of the assisting anymore. But he is still scoring a good number of points. And you just look at his game log, number of 3-pointers he made. So the line is 2.5, and just going back the past 7 games or so, he's been playing with Mike Conley during the span. 3 3-pointers, 3, 2, 2, 5, 2, 5. So more often than not, he has been hitting at least 3 3-pointers. That's all you need here. You just need him to make 3 3-pointers in this game. And he's been chucking. He has multiple games in that span also where he's attempted double-digit 3-pointers. He has 3 with 8. He's not been afraid to shoot. So I love that line, the 2.5 for Anthony Edwards tonight against Brooklyn. Again, we haven't projected for 3.1, and we have the over hitting 55% of the time on 2.5 3-pointers.
Love it. I can always get behind Ant-Man, especially the usage up. You get Mike Conley out on the floor, sharing the floor. I think we are going to see those rates go up for Anthony Edwards over a longer sample size, playing alongside Conley as opposed to playing alongside D'Angelo Russell. So I think that I definitely can get behind anything. I feel like Ant-Man I've just been higher on than the prevailing marketplace all season. Well, pretty much all season, but for sure the last 2 weeks. There's no doubt about that. You took him higher on a 3-point prop. I'm going to take a lower on a 3-point prop. We're going to round it out with James Harden. The line is set at 3. They're facing Portland. Simons is questionable. Again, the backcourt has really no defensive craziness, but I will say Matisse Thybulle, he's going to be out there, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be on James Harden's hip pocket as much as possible. That's basically all he's good for. That's what he did in Philly in his 10 minutes a game, 12 minutes a game he would play there. He's playing a ton of minutes now for this rotation. Even when you got Simon starting there, it was still Matisse Thybulle playing the 3 there, playing a lot of minutes. Tyrese Maxey now sharing the floor as well. That's another high usage play. And with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey on the floor, that usage has come down, and it showed up in recent games since Maxey re-entered the starting lineup. 17.9% usage last game against Indiana. 6 3-point attempts, only made 1 of those. Again, if he's going to be looking at 6.5, 7 3-pointers as your attempted number there, I gotta like 3 because he's got to hit 4 to burn you in that kind of a regard. Shoot better than 50%. If he shoots 9 or 10, you're probably in a lot of trouble at this line, but because of the volume, because of Maxey in the starting lineup, and because of Joel Embiid trying to do Joel Embiid things and having Mr. Joel Embiid going for the scoring title, I think James Harden's going to continue to distribute. So I love that he's popping in our projections, 56%. That's a play that's on my card. I'm going to incorporate it into underdog. I think that's a really good play today.
Love it. That's great. Is that our final pick here? And we're going to take
That's our
one
finals. Those are our
from the
four. And then
audience,
we're going
right?
to. So yeah, we had a couple there in chat. People are talking about the best and worst fantasy sports, MLB and NHL. I think NHL is pretty great. We've had some really good projections for shot on goal stuff. Hopefully you've been checking out some of those. Graylin, any confidence change on Davis over 13 and a half from Lindy Leans Likes Locks? No, that is on the card here for this one. Again, Anthony Davis, when you're going to project him out for 38 minutes, like I do going forward in a lot of these competitive spots, very difficult to get away from higher on 13 and a half being the line when you project it for two more than that. So right. I'm definitely all in on that. Prop pick show. Love it. Thank you, Carlos Manso. Good to have you, my dude. I'm seeing Murray over 4.5 rebounds, Butler over 5.5 rebounds, Hero over 2.5 threes. Any of those look good to you from the chat, Neil?
All right. Well, I think I'm just going to have to look at our tools. So you say, was it Jamal Murray?
I'm assuming either maybe DeJounte Murray, probably DeJounte Murray, more of a rebounder, 4.5.
Okay. We do have the over on 4.5 hitting 55% of the time on DeJounte Murray rebounds.
Let's put that one in. I think that's a really nice play. Again, 55%, kind of the threshold for underdog on where I would play it. If it's underneath that, pretty difficult for me to want to go too crazy with it. But lots of options. And I will say there's things that we also don't project every single day that I find to be a lot of fun. We have 10 free throws made for Joel Embiid. That seems like a gigantic number for Joel Embiid, 10 free throws made, but it actually looks pretty efficient. I've been trying to incorporate more of that into some of my builds when I'm doing prop picks type builds. So like, I think that's something to be paying attention to, but I'm pretty happy with those 5 up on your screen. To repeat for the people, we got DeJounte Murray over, so higher than 4.5 rebounds. We have the Ant-Man, more than 2.5 threes. We have less than 3 threes for James Harden. Last 2 were Pascal Siakam, more than 6.5 rebounds, and Anthony Davis, more than 13.5 rebounds. Hello, how you doing this fine day? Anything else you want to talk about with Pick 'em before we go do a draft here, my friend?
No, let's move on to a draft because they take about 10 minutes and might take a couple minutes for it to fill. So I think it's a good time to move on, take a look at the draft. But yeah, I mean, take a look at our NBA Bet Pro if you can access it. We have underdog projections at this point, and it's giving the win percentage because you don't need XROI on underdog because it's just more or less in these contests. So having these win percentages is super useful in finding bets that you want to make in the pick'em.
All right, we're jumping to the Fast Break Friday, everybody. $5, $60K in prizes. These things fill up. It is awesome seeing underdog just succeed as much as they have over the course of the last couple of years. But like, I've seen a lot of people posting their winnings from the Fast Break Fridays, from the crossover, which is kind of the primary offering where you do the 4-person drafts. I've done a couple of those. The Fast Break Friday, though, $5 to get in, 13.6 entrants. And as you said before the show, give people a little bit of the rundown on what your basic strategy is coming into these.
So right now the strategy is so it's to give you an idea of the format. It's all super flex. So like you don't have to worry about positions in these drafts, these daily drafts. In best ball, it's different. You do have to worry about positions, but here in the daily drafts, it's all just super flex. So really all you're doing is for me right now, all I've been doing is reordering my rankings according to our projections for FanDuel because it's the exact same projections. They use FanDuel scoring in these daily contests. So the rankings, because there's no positions or anything, the rankings are essentially just the projections for the day. But beyond that, so that's actually, I think it's a big leg up because sometimes we have people.
Oh, we got to go. Hang on. 1.1. We're 1.1 on the clock. Embiid or Jokic. Those are your only 2 options that I'm giving you.
Yep. 1.1. We are going with Embiid.
Cool.
Just barely. Projects better than Jokic.
All right, continue on though. Now we got a second.
Yeah. So now, so what I love to see is sometimes like Anthony Edwards is actually our example today. So we have him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th best ranked player overall on the board, but he's not going 7th or overall. I don't remember exactly where he is, but I think he's like 10th or 11th. And you can find these discrepancies just looking at our projections. You can see players that are clearly going too low in the draft based. So like right now, I don't think you really need to do all that much game theory because the projections or the ADPs just don't match up with the projections for these players. So I think that's one thing that's simple. But you and I were talking about before the show a little bit that I think the secondary, another really huge thing is people are so risk averse in these drafts. So like if there is a player who's questionable, like we just got Darius Garland questionable, well, that's going to mean generally Darius Garland's going to fall down the board. So people aren't going to draft Darius Garland. Of course, he's been drafted throughout the day already, so that one doesn't benefit as much. But if he's ruled out, people aren't going to think about like, well, who would benefit if he does get ruled out? They're going to think, well, I'm just going to stay away from that situation because I don't really know what's going to happen. So I think that sometimes you can take advantage of injury news. I don't know if there is anybody because so in these drafts it is only 6 teams and 6 rounds, 5 rounds, I think 5 rounds. So just 30 total players taken.
We're coming up next year, my friend. We got the turn too. So we got to kind of game plan a little bit. We're at the 2. Yep. So we got the turn. So we ended up being 1.1. We're going 2-6 and 3-1 here. So we got 2 picks. You were talking a little bit about some of the news that's pending. Darius Garland being questionable. Obviously Donovan Mitchell gone immediately, or like right before us there. So can't do that. That would have been my pick for damn sure. But coming up next, we talked about that game environment for the Lakers, Toronto. We talked about it in terms of rebounds. What do you think about Fred VanVleet? It's been a little bit disappointing. Obviously, he had some thoughts about that too. What do you think about him as kind of our next pick here at the turn?
I like
him
it.
And Pascal Siakam, game stack it.
Yep, we could. I mean, that absolutely works. We could take him 2.
And Russell's back today. We can probably get him a little bit later if we want to incorporate that.
Yep.
Yes, I want them both.
Yeah, let's do it.
Best matchup on the board. And as you said, we're talking about raw points. Those are 2 dudes that if that game shoots out, which is very, very capable of happening, going up against the Los Angeles Lakers, you're getting all of that fantasy goodness. Makes me kind of regret. Maybe we should have taken Anthony Davis at the top.
I mean, you can't really predict who's going to be available when you come back.
Right.
But there's something to think about. Like oftentimes that is kind of how I learn. I do a draft and I think, oh man, I wish this had happened this way. And then I kind of start strategizing differently. But yeah, I agree. Knowing that we could get those 2 players, it would have been nice to get that game stacked. But Jokic does project just significantly, or Embiid, I guess, projects significantly better than. Never mind. He projects 1 point, slightly more than 1 point.
It's like a point. Yeah.
I was thinking.
I was going to say I kind of have a little bit of FOMO, but I didn't think that they would both be available at the turn. Again, you can look at what we have here at Stokastic. It uses FanDuel scoring. That's kind of the baseline for it. You're only picking 6 players. So again, you're trying to encapsulate what's the highest upside path. Obviously, if that game goes to overtime and Anthony Davis puts up 70, I'm going to kick myself. But it's hard to go wrong. Right. Picking hairs between Embiid, Jokic, Davis under their current circumstances. They all look really, really good.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do think like if you wanted to then jump in another draft, which you could do, on your own later, maybe you get the 101, think about taking Davis and build that game stack because now you have the idea. And I think it's a great idea. So it's a nice thing with these drafts are only, I think this is a $5 draft. Generally they're, not that expensive of drafts. So you can do multiple and kind of make the build that you want to make.
Well, and also just like in DFS, I mean, $6K to first, really, really nice payout up top for $5. That's for sure. But you are truly trying to just capture as much upside as possible. And so, I mean, with a lot of these drafts, I always think about that very final pick, getting way off the board, what could go right for me, and trying to hit in that kind of a capacity to give me that one differentiator that might be the guy. We'll have to see what that board looks like. But that's the fun of the draft is you have 30 seconds to be able to analyze all this information. And I think doing more than one draft is definitely the path to go because, again, I wouldn't have had the game stack idea known that Anthony Davis would have been my preferred build unless I had seen the way the turn could work out on certain drafts.
All right. So what do you think about Garland? So
not here because we have Russell there. We want Russell.
Yeah, let's take Russell. I love that.
Like that's lock in. So put a star next to him. Give ourselves the little bit of extra time. Oh, you already picked it.
Okay. And then so Harrow or Grant, I would say maybe put a star in Harrow and then we can go for it. So it's Harrow, Grant, Maxey. Let me see who projects the best.
We took Embiid. I was thinking we probably, the Garland play, nobody wants to click on it. I think he's more likely to not play. I like the Hero up against Cleveland on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler gets ruled out randomly a lot.
True.
We could go Tyrese Maxey though and take a Portland piece as the last play. That's the other option.
Sure. Okay. All right. Tyler Harrow.
Good talk. Glad we had it.
So we did
but here's the thing. We just took Tyler Hero. What if we do assume that Darius Garland doesn't play? Do we want to try to get really contrarian off the board and maybe go to the prospective starter that I think you and I both think it would be Karis LeVert?
Actually, yeah, that's not So the trouble is that we only get to pick 30 total players in this draft, or is it maybe 36 total players in this draft?
Yep.
It's 6 rounds, I guess. So the my only struggle is like, is Karis LeVert with the news, if Darius Garland gets ruled out, would he be a top 36 player? Maybe. And even
Yeah,
if he's
he
not,
would be for me.
okay.
Pretty close. Nah, he'd probably be just on the outside.
Which is
But
still like, if nobody else is drafting him, there's still definitely a benefit to, like, he'll be close enough, right, to that bottom, those last picks. And we do have the absolute last pick in the draft. So I kind of like that idea. It's it's a nice little correlation.
I think it's the play we want. I think
very
it's the guy that we
contrarian.
want as very contrarian. And if it ends up working out for you where he ends up in there, I'd project him right around 35 fantasy points. I just did that quickly.
Okay.
Which would put him kind of in that Tyrese Maxey range. Again, we just had Tyrese Maxey come off the board. Oh, no, he's still sitting there. I was going to say, I was very surprised to see him projected as 30.4.
Yeah.
I don't have him projected that high.
So Jordan, if you could just search for Karis LeVert in that bar.
Karis LeVert, the other guy, and again, this is going to make you just vomit. I do like some of the Brooklyn pieces there. Is Cameron Johnson still available?
Sure is. And looks like he doesn't go drafted every time either. He's one of those, like, sometimes people will take him with the last pick. Do you like Cam Johnson better than Karis LeVert?
Let's look at the top of this board here. Let me pull this up in a large screen so I can actually see it. I'm so competitive with this stuff. My God, it's just disgusting. I love drafting.
It's so fun.
Because I mean, look at what your opportunity cost is. It's like OG Anunoby, Michael Porter. Why wouldn't we take Karis LeVert and hope the news breaks our way in a 13,000 person tournament?
Right. Exactly. We know.
I mean, you could draft a little bit later, like towards the very tail end, and hope you got that news so you could react to it. But then his ADP is going to be higher. I think he'd be taken into the top 36 at that point.
I'm being told this is a stacked lobby. I can't actually read the names there. I can see all of the badges, so I know that this is an experienced group.
Carlos Manzo, yes, AD at the 1.01 will get you different as well. Yeah, because then we could have gotten the entire game stack, and our life would be a lot better. Because now we're literally only missing AD. Last pick.
We'll go with LeVert, right?
Yep. Let's try Karis LeVert. Sacrifice that $5 to the gods in the event that we end up getting Darius Garland playing basketball tonight.
It's just nice knowing that it's Jordan's $5.
That is really the best feeling of all.
Yeah.
Check out UnderDog, everybody. It's in the video description box below. Promo code Stokastic. Get yourself $100 first match deposit bonus. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot more fun than I was anticipating having this Friday morning until I saw this show on the schedule. Knew it'd be a blast. My guy, Neil Orfield, fellow Minnesota Timberwolves fan. Well, we're sick people and our lives suck. But anyway, any final words for the people as we get out of here?
No, go do some drafts. Take AD 101. Take our idea from us. Good luck.
Yeah, go do some pick 'em as well. Thank you to Jordan Klein behind the virtual wall there. Did a great job. Extraordinaire. UnderDog drafter. Well done. Dude, no, sorry. I took the wrong guy. No, it's fine. It's fine. Just had to say it. He's Neil. I'm Eric. Best of luck in the UnderDog streets. See you guys a little bit later.